The holographic image of High Counselor Zeftar shimmered in the center of the United Earth Command Chamber, his three eyes gleaming with what humans had learned to recognize as Altarian arrogance. Behind him, the assembled representatives of the Galactic Council sat in their ceremonial robes, each species maintaining the stoic composure that had governed interstellar politics for millennia. Humans of Earth. Zeftar's voice resonated with artificial authority, translated through universal communicators into cold, mechanical English. The Council has deliberated. Your species has been deemed problematic. Admiral Sarah Chen stood at attention before the hologram, her weathered hands clasped behind her back. 40 years of military service had taught her to read between the lines, and she didn't like what she was hearing. Problematic how, High Counselor? She asked, her voice steady despite the tension crackling through the command center. Zeftar's mandibles clicked, the Altarian equivalent of a dismissive laugh. Your species lacks proper deference to established order. Your colonization efforts proceed without Council approval. Your military vessels venture into restricted space. Your very existence threatens the stability we have maintained for 10,000 years. The other Council members nodded in synchronized agreement. The Vorthon representative's gills fluttered with what might have been satisfaction. The Crystalline Collective's emissary pulsed with soft blue light, their version of a smug smile. Therefore, Zeftar continued, the Council demands unconditional surrender. You will submit to our governance, cease all expansion beyond your home system, and surrender your military fleet. You have 72 standard hours to comply. Refuse, and we will demonstrate why no species has ever successfully defied the Council. The hologram flickered and died, leaving the command center in stunned silence. Admiral Chen turned to face her staff. Colonel Martinez, her tactical officer, was already pulling up fleet positions on the main display. Dr. Reeves from the Xenobiology Department looked pale but determined. Captain Okafor of the Mars Defense Corps was quietly speaking into his comm unit, likely alerting the outer colonies. Well, Chen said, breaking the silence, I suppose they've never met humans before. The next 72 hours transformed Earth and its colonies into a hive of activity that would have impressed even the most industrious species in the galaxy. What the Council had mistaken for chaos was actually something far more dangerous. Human coordination born of righteous fury. Dr. Reeves worked around the clock, analyzing every piece of intelligence Earth had gathered on Council species. Their weaknesses, their technologies, their histories. The Altarians, for all their arrogance, had never faced an enemy that adapted as quickly as humans. The Vorthons were aquatic specialists, formidable in their element but clumsy in others. The Crystalline Collective operated on hive mind principles, disrupt the network, and they became confused and sluggish. Colonel Martinez coordinated with defense forces across 3 solar systems. The ragtag human fleet that the Council so dismissed was actually a carefully distributed network of vessels. From massive carriers to nimble fighters, many hidden in asteroid fields and nebulae. Humanity had learned long ago that survival meant never putting all their eggs in one basket. Captain Okafor mobilized the colonial militias. Mars, Europa, Titan, the mining stations around Jupiter. Every outpost became a fortress. Every civilian transport was retrofitted with weapons. Every asteroid mining laser became a potential ship killer. But it was Admiral Chen who coordinated the most important element of their defense, the human spirit. She broadcast to every human settlement, every ship, every station. They think we'll roll over like every other species they've conquered. They think fear will make us comply. They don't understand that we're not afraid, we're angry. And an angry human is the most dangerous creature in the galaxy. When the Council Armada arrived at the edge of the Sol system, they expected to find a broken species ready to grovel. Instead, they found something that violated every principle of their orderly universe. The humans weren't running. They weren't hiding. They weren't even trying to negotiate. They were attacking. The first wave came from nowhere. Human ships that had been drifting silent and cold, indistinguishable from space debris. They struck the Council's forward scouts with precision that spoke of decades of careful planning and natural tactical brilliance. The second wave emerged from the asteroid belt. Mining vessels turned into improvised warships, their industrial equipment repurposed into devastating weapons. They fought with a creativity that confused and alarmed the Council forces. But it was the third wave that truly shattered the Council's expectations. Earth's hidden fleet, sleek, fast, and crewed by humans who had grown up knowing this day would come, struck at the heart of the alien formation with a ferocity that no council species had ever witnessed. Humans didn't fight like the civilized races. They didn't follow established patterns of engagement or respect traditional rules of warfare. They adapted, improvised, and overcame. When their weapons failed, they rammed their ships into enemy vessels. When outnumbered, they used the environment itself as a weapon, luring enemies into asteroid fields and gravitational anomalies. High Counselor Zeftar watched in horror as his invincible armada was systematically dismantled by a species he had dismissed as primitives. The humans weren't just winning. They were doing it with a style of warfare that defied everything the Council thought they knew about space combat. "How?" he gasped, watching another Council dreadnought fall to human fighters that swarmed like angry insects. Admiral Chen's image appeared on his view screen, transmitted from the bridge of the UES Defiance. Her smile was sharp as a blade. "You wanted to know what makes humans problematic, Counselor? We don't surrender. We don't submit. We don't break. You should have learned that before you threatened our home." The Battle of Sol lasted 18 hours. When it ended, the Council's supposedly unstoppable armada was scattered wreckage drifting through space. The few surviving ships limped back to Council space, carrying word of humanity's impossible victory. But Admiral Chen wasn't finished. "Open a channel to Council headquarters," she ordered. When Zeftar's battered image appeared, she delivered her own ultimatum. "The Council demanded our surrender. Instead, you got our fury. Now here are humanity's terms. Leave us alone. Stay out of our space. And spread the word to every species in the galaxy. Humanity doesn't kneel to anyone." The transmission ended, and Chen turned to her crew. They had won more than a battle. They had announced humanity's arrival on the galactic stage not as supplicants but as equals who would forge their own destiny among the stars. The galaxy would never be the same.